Hi, and welcome to what week is this?
Week 2.
Week 2 of Electric Football.
What a season.
I don't know what week it is because I didn't do week 1. Stu betrayed me.
Where were you?
He went all Beyonce on me and left me as Destiny's Child.
So it's Friday afternoon. I'm like, we didn't do a show, so I filmed it at home. I hope you loved it.
We did a show. We did previews, and that should have been good enough for you people.
Yeah, because he forgets I edit this for 7 hours after he leaves and has dinner with his wife and children.
It is true. Beyonce does all the work, and he does have some badonkadonk too.
I do.
Anyway, it's Electric Football. We're going to just ramble and throw some thoughts out on football. I'm going to throw out my first thought, which is, when did Tony Dungy turn into a goblin?
I'm telling you.
Did anyone? I mean, there was that delay before the game, and they were out there with the umbrellas, and when they were showing him in profile, I was like, oh my God, he should be chasing Frodo through the Shire. It was.
And brown shoes with the blue suits. Don't worry. I don't think they ever meant to show their feet.
Wasn't a fashion boy here.
Well, what can I say? I watch television.
He is a bit of a diva. Anyway, let's do a real quick recap of last week's, sort of just the big wins. For me, that's the Broncos, the Bears, the Saints, the 49ers. 49ers was a huge win. Let's see. The Lions had a big win against my Vikings, so we'll get into that a little bit.
Right.
Cowboys, huge win against the Giants. Eagles, big win on Monday night.
That was an exciting bunch of offense in the first half.
And the Texans with a huge comeback, which I didn't see because, quite frankly, I can't stay up till 1 o'clock. I have a freaking job. Why do you think I have these bags under my eyes?
We work 10 hours a day. By the way, I had 11 right.
Yeah, I was gonna mock him, but how can you mock that? I mean, that's good stuff.
I picked the Jets.
I would listen to this man over me any day of the week. For moral victories, you have to give it to the Bills, who hung tough with the Patriots.
Yep.
The Raiders, who hung tough with the Colts. And
surprisingly,
Carolina, who hung tough with Seattle.
Yep.
So that's sort of my week 1 recap.
Yeah, it was a good week 1. I enjoyed the Philadelphia game last night. I'm telling you, that was the fastest half of football I've ever seen. And I don't mean the time. I mean, oh my God. It was like a play every 12 seconds with Philadelphia. The problem is, it's week 1. Yeah, everybody's in shape and we can do it. By week 6, they're going to be going, come on, Chip. I can't do this. It's too fast. I'm too fat.
Yeah, everyone's saying that. I don't know if that's true or not.
I think it's true.
We'll find out.
We will.
As we go through the season. So, I guess we're going to just move. This is rapid fire. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, we're kind of like the Chip Kelly of prognostication.
Well done.
Thank you.
So we're going to.
And I hope we're in order.
We're not even close. But we're going to move into predictions for the next weeks. Okay. And we're going to start with the Patriots versus the Jets Thursday. That just kind of makes sense.
Yep.
The Patriots are going to wax the Jets. And by wax, I mean wax on, wax off, crane stance, Mr. Miyagi, quiet beatdown of the Jets. The Jets got very lucky with a stupid late penalty on Tampa Bay. But
shouldn't have won.
More than that, Tampa Bay looked discombobulated. They discombobulated the man.
Yeah.
Greg Schiano, I don't know what you did in the offseason, but boy, they were taking safeties. There were
3 or 4 safeties in the first 15 minutes of football on Sunday. It was really unbelievable.
I was going to ask, was there a record set for safeties?
I bet you there was.
There were more 2-pointers than an NBA game.
I'm agreeing with you. I think the Patriots started sluggish. They were away. They're playing. The Jets have a decent defense, but they had absolutely nothing on offense. And if not for that stupid penalty, they would have lost the game. And you know what? The Patriots can score when they need to, as they showed, in the last couple minutes of the game. Oh, yeah, we got to score. Touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, Tom Brady's leadership compared to Josh Freeman's leadership, it's not even close.
Right.
Belichick's coaching and preparation to Schiano's, it's not even close.
Right.
So the Jets aren't going to get a lucky late penalty.
No miracle this week.
But, credit goes to Geno Smith. He won his first NFL game. People were giving him grief for celebrating a little bit because he didn't make a great pass at the end of the game.
Because he's a 22-year-old kid that just won his first game.
Yeah, I'd freaking celebrate.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, let's
I'd kiss you. No, I would. And we're back to the solo show.
Right. After that awkward silence, we're going to move on. So the next game I have, and I'm going to ignore Stu, I have Rams at the Falcons.
Good, we're on the same page.
And the Falcons come back from a tough loss, to put it to a game but undermatched Rams team. That's how I see it. The Rams squeaked one by Arizona. Arizona's nothing to write home about. The Falcons disappointed me. I am on the Falcons bandwagon, and they did disappoint me.
Do you write home anymore?
What's that?
Do you write home anymore?
Do I write home? What does he
So
mean?
they were no one to write home about.
Oh, yes, I occasionally do write home.
Okay.
Honey, I'll be home soon. I'm hanging with Stu. I email home.
Oh, okay.
So there's nothing to email home about. But, my money's on the Falcons in this one. So,
I have to agree. You know what? Steven Jackson's playing his former team. Atlanta has to win this game. Not that they were embarrassed the other day, but they didn't look like the supposed NFC champions of this year. So Bradford to the tight end Jared Cook for 2 TDs. And the Rams are going to have an uphill battle against Atlanta. I think they'll probably be in the game, but I don't think they'll be close enough to even consider a win here. Take the Falcons.
there we go. Chargers at Eagles. And the Chargers folded like a piece of origami in the second half, evidently. I was asleep. I'm not going to lie to you. I was nappy poo. I looked it up on NFL.com, and I read the box score. That's about all I can tell you about that game. The Eagles, everyone's talking about, will they run out of gas? Well, I'll tell you what. You score 33 in the first half. You score 40 in the first half. You can run out of gas.
Right.
All you got to do is take a knee the rest of the game. Jeez. It was a very impressive first game for Chip Kelly. It was a very impressive game for LaShawn McCoy.
That one move was
spectacular.
Holy cow. And he had over 30 carries.
Yeah, so that does lead to the question: will they wear down?
Mm-hmm.
They might, but they're not going to wear down in Week 2 against the Chargers. So give me the Eagles.
Yeah, Vic and Jackson and McCoy were just moving at a different speed than everybody else last night. Arakpo was gasping for breath in the middle of the first quarter. I think the Chargers are going to do the same. They got ahead, first home game. The lucky tip at the line on the first play of the game for the touchdown. But if you take that away, they didn't score as much on offense as it seemed. Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles here.
There we go.
Okay.
In agreement again.
Yeah.
Cowboys at Chiefs. And the Chiefs really weren't tested. I mean, come on.
They played us.
And that, it was part of that whole safety thing.
Oh, wow.
The Cowboys won't get 6 turnovers from the Chiefs.
No.
One of the questions for me is Andy Reid really a great coach? And the Chip Kelly stuff makes you kind of question that. I mean, Andy Reid basically had the same personnel, and he wasn't getting that kind of explosive offense out of them. I think he is. I think the Chiefs are a much better team. I think maybe it was just poor coaching last year. I think the Chiefs' level of talent is surprisingly high. So give me the feisty, frisky Chiefs. Maybe it's just my hatred of the Cowboys, but they're not going to get 6 turnovers every week, and they damn near lost a game where they got 6 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
Cowboys had a shaky win. Their quarterback is dinged up with some bruised ribs. They're not broken, according to the reports. Chiefs have some solid weapons. Jamal Charles, Alex Smith is playing like he did when he was unceremoniously dumped by San Francisco.
Which is solid but not spectacular.
Yeah, but he's going to win games for you. Dwayne Bowe, he's got solid weapons, but the Dallas defense, I think, is just better than the Kansas City offense, and I'm taking the Cowboys. 3-point win.
See, I think the Chiefs defense is really underrated.
We'll find out. They played the Jaguars. You
can't tell from that, unfortunately.
Right. Not for Week 2.
Then we move on, and we should let Stu take this one. It's Dolphins at Colts.
Okay, well, Miami's defense, I think I mentioned it in our preview, is going to be a lot better. Well, they showed it. 6 sacks. They had turnovers. They're finally catching the interceptions that they always dropped. It's a voracious D. Voracious. You watch where they rank at the end of the year.
They got that dictionary, folks.
I did. I used a $3 word today. And the Colts offense didn't look great. They barely beat the Raiders, who really no one was expecting to even be in that game. Let's be honest with that. The problem is it's the Dolphins' second road game in a row, and that's painful for any team. I don't care how good you are. 2 road games to start, tough to do. But I think Mike Wallace opens it up this time against a kind of porous secondary for the Colts, and I'm taking Miami.
I'm going to disagree. I'm just going to take the lucky horseshoes just to sort of get under Stu's skin. Because I actually think Andrew Luck is going to be a very, very good quarterback. He has been so far, and I think that's going to continue. His development and his trajectory, to use my own good word, is nothing but upwards.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So I'm taking the Colts.
Okay, you may. Titans at Texans. All right. It's a better matchup than I anticipated. Tennessee really kind of took care of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh looks like they could be done.
Pittsburgh's done. I mean,
Wow.
Put some coleslaw, put some fries, put some of that nasty bread on that they use in those Primati sandwiches.
And would they get a safety?
Serve them up with an Iron City beer.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's done. They rusted quickly.
Houston had to claw their way up back against the Chargers to win the game. But you know what? That's a tale of two halves, kind of like the Philly game. Washington came back, and it was closer than you thought. But it's a second road game for Tennessee as well. And I just have to take the Houston defense at home to put the hurt on the Hurt Locker, Jake.
I completely agree. I expect the Houston posse to lock up Locker. I'm really not impressed by what Chris Johnson brings to the table anymore.
Yeah, I thought he'd be better than this year, but you know what?
And I think Jake Locker, talking about trajectory, I think it's a flat line.
Yeah,
I think
we've seen what he can do.
Yeah, I think we've seen what he can do, and that's about 160 yards, one TD, 2 interceptions kind of games. They were lucky to be playing a really rapidly falling apart Pittsburgh team.
Yep.
And guard your knees, boy, because David DeCastro went after his own teammates' knees.
Oh, Pouncey out for the season. Yeah, that's brutal.
How brutal is that? And, I don't blame DeCastro. I blame bad coaching. I mean, if you don't tell the guy which team to cheap shot, he's going to cheap shot his own team. So that was horrible.
It's not practice anymore. Damn it.
So we're going to move on to Redskins at the Packers. And, for the Packers, they have to go from Kaepernick to RG3. The schedule makers did not do them any favors.
True.
Those are two of the mobilest mobile quarterbacks. The Packers were jacked up, and I was very impressed by their defensive effort.
Yeah.
They said, we're going to try and keep Kaepernick from beating us with his feet, so he beat him with their arm.
They even tackled him out of bounds to make sure they were doing a good job.
Yeah, my goodness. Clay Matthews went flying out of bounds.
Yeah, he was almost still in bounds. That was close, from my opinion.
I was also impressed by Eddie Lacy. I got to tell you, I think
good.
Eddie Lacy gives the Packers a tough running back, a short yardage kind of guy that they move the pile and with some explosion too.
Yeah.
So I am very impressed by the Packers, even though they lost, and I think that they will beat the Redskins.
I do too. Griffin is injured. If you watched any of that game last night, he wasn't following through on his throws. I mean, they were pointing it out. They were showing every pass. He just didn't have the follow through into the throw. The Packers were stung by San Francisco, and I think they're kind of riled up. They played a good game. They played, a game they could have won, and they just didn't do it. I think the Redskins defense looks old and, kind of gimpy. I think Morris will run well. Al Morris will run better against this team than they did against Philadelphia, but I don't think this is close.
I like that kid Halou, too.
Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, they've got a nice... Hello, Roy. They've got a nice set of backs, but it's not going to make the difference against the Packers this week. So Browns at the Ravens, and... You would think a guy whose last name was Brown might root for the Browns, and I want to, but just like their uniforms, just like their name, they're just kind of a blah team. They've been a blah team since they've been back in existence. They've been a blah team since Bernie freaking Kosar was running around like a giraffe on Quaaludes. Did the Ravens get lit up? Yes. That's not my line. I stole that from somebody. I wish that was my line.
I don't even know what that means.
Giraffe on Quaaludes. Baby giraffe on Quaaludes would be my own line. Ravens got lit up by Peyton Manning, but the Ravens actually at the start of that game were playing the Broncos straight up, and
they ran out of air.
That
I swear to God, nobody can win there because you can't breathe.
It's a good point, actually. Whedon ain't no Manning. I think we all know that. So give me the Birds, give me the Ravens in this one.
Well, I'm going to disagree here. I think Cleveland's front seven is really stuffing the line well, and that plays into the Ravens. Best asset is Ray Rice. I think they can. Sure. I think they can contain Ray Rice. Miami couldn't move the ball, and we don't have a running game. But there was no holes, there was no openings, there was no chance to run, and I think they'll stuff that. So I'm going with an upset alert here. I think Cleveland has pretty good corners in Hayden, and I think his name is Skyrn. I don't know how to pronounce it. But anyway, I think it's a close game, and I'm going to take Cleveland to win. They're going to beat the old Cleveland with the new Cleveland.
Panthers at the Bills. I would call this the moral victory bowl. I watched before my kid's soccer game. I watched most of the start of the Patriots Bills games, and C.J. Spiller was fumbling. The Danny Amendola was catching the ball. Mm-hmm. The Patriots looked great. I was shocked by the final score of that game, and I think a lot of people were really impressed by what E.J. Manuel brought to the table, especially since he was coming off of injury.
Yeah.
Panthers, they held tough against Seattle. It was one of the better teams in the NFL. I'm going with the Bills just based on the fact that E.J. Manuel was very impressive, that C.J. Spiller is a very dangerous runner if he holds on to the ball, which I hope he will. Clemson man that he is.
Yeah.
And I think the Bills may be building a little bit of something up there.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think Spiller and Fred Jackson splitting carries can add. They each had 57, 58 yards, something like that. I think they'll do better against Carolina, and I think they win this game. E.J. Manuel may be better than I thought.
Yeah, there you go. So my Vikings at the Bears, and I got to tell you, Christian might have to stop pondering. He may just figure out that he's not going to be good enough to be an NFL quarterback.
It's pretty clear.
Early in that game, he had 0 passing yards, while Adrian Peterson was just romping and scoring touchdowns. And I don't know why we switch over to the point where we give Peterson that we give Ponder the chance to throw his 3 interceptions, but we do. And we do. And Adrian ends up with 18 carries,
90 yards, 95 yards,
couple of catches, 3 touchdowns. Weird thing. Peterson touches the ball, good things happen. Ponder touches the ball, bad things
happen. Bad.
Ponder bad. Peterson good. Ponder bad. The Bears whooped my Bengals, and I'm really on the Bengals bandwagon.
And I picked it.
Without me, I might add. A.J. Green caught everything in the world against them, but the Vikings don't have an A.J. Green. They have an aging Greg Jennings. They've got a young rookie Patterson who didn't do much. I think I'm coming to the realization that Ponder is bad enough that he's going to keep Adrian Peterson and Jared Allen, 2 of the better players in Viking history, ringless. So as much as it hurts me, and I did pick the Vikings to win the division in a moment of spastic stupidity, I'm going to go with the Bears here.
Okay, I'm taking the Bears because I picked them to win the division anyway. Let's move on.
Okay. Saints at the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers are a freaking mess. I mean, we talked about it before. Could you give a worse penalty? Could you give him 15 yards at a worse time? I mean, what was the... And he didn't even get a good shot on him. I mean, that wasn't a Clay Matthews flying at him kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to take that penalty...
Go down.
You better knock his ass out.
He had the Jets. I swear to God, he had the Jets in a pool.
Sorry. But it seems that Josh Freeman was born without the leadership gene.
I think he was born without the quarterback gene.
He appears to have been born with an excess of the sulkiness gene. And as I said before, Greg Schiano did not have them ready to play. I don't see any way that he's going to have them ready to play. Sean Payton is evidently the greatest coach ever because his absence last year killed the Saints, and he's been back one game and they already have a huge victory.
Yeah.
I don't see a way they lose this one. Give me the Saints.
Yeah, I can see Breeze throwing for 4 touchdowns here and, probably sitting out the second half. Take the Saints.
Lions at the Cardinals. Reggie Bush put up almost 200 all-purpose yards against the Vikings. And Ndamukong Suh got another $100,000 fine. At what point? No, seriously. At what point does the NFL go, this is just a dirty, dirty player who's out there actively trying to injure people. We need to stop him.
When he stops selling shirts.
Because $100,000, I mean, hell, it's way better than I'm going to do this year. But
yeah, that's pretty much my peak.
But it's not going to stop Ndamukong Suh, evidently. He's stomping on people's heads. He's going at people's knees. It's constantly Ndamukong Suh, Ndamukong Suh, Ndamukong Suh. At some point, he's got to... You have to look at suspensions.
Yeah.
My opinion. And yeah, I'm a Viking guy. It bothered me he went after Sullivan's knees. But come on. I mean, how many times can a guy show back up? Who was the Steeler that kept showing up? Not Ferrier. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Ignore
Harrison?
That. Yes, James Harrison. There does come a point where you have to go, there are dirty players in this league, and Ndamukong Suh is one of them, and perhaps it's time for suspension. But him and Fairley give the Lions plenty of push. Carson Palmer hooked up with Larry Fitzgerald a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. Give me the Lions in this one. fairly easily, actually.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I mean, 34 points against the Vikings and Reggie Bush running wild. The Cardinals aren't even going to know who to cover. They're just going to keep going, oh, should have had him. Take the Lions here.
Wish I'd covered that guy.
Wow. Oh, damn, that was me.
Jaguars at the Raiders. I don't.
Oh, is this a game?
I don't rubberneck at traffic accidents. I don't want to see bloody messes on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
This is a mess. Give me the Raiders, just because.
The Los Angeles Jags meet the former Los Angeles Raiders in a game that somebody called the best 4 o'clock game being played at Alameda Stadium today.
Broncos at Giants. Battle of the Banners.
Oh, Manning!
Give me Peyton to beat Eli. I honestly think that Peyton is the better quarterback. I know Stewart might disagree with that. 7 touchdowns last week starts to speak to that. Oh my goodness, does he have weapons? Especially if that tight end turns out to be as good as he was week one.
In fantasy.
Because that little Wes Welker, even though he once again had some drops, including one that they missed, even with replay,
when you drop 1 for 20 yards, but you still have 182 touchdowns.
Yeah, hard
to
freaking complain.
Oh, you know, Wes, you're killing us.
Demarius Thomas, Eric Decker is a solid receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton with a whole lot of weapons. Not that Eli doesn't. Not that Eli lacks for weapons right now. They are having trouble with David Wilson holding on to the ball.
And they just picked up Brandon Jacobs to come in and block.
Yeah, but Brandon Jacobs isn't going to give a shot to the running game.
He'll keep Eli upright.
Yeah, he'll keep Eli upright, but people are going to be going, oh, Brandon's in. We don't really have to account for him. He'll be back there blocking.
Well, I'm taking Manning.
Yes, I think we both think that a Manning is going to win this one.
Hey, Eli, this is how Dad taught me to throw touchdowns. You might want to watch and listen to him next time.
I'm not saying I'd bet the house on Peyton, but I might bet my fancy sleep 6 people tent on it.
Oh, okay. I'm taking Eli Manning and the Giants.
All right. So
they're home.
Next week, you guys will, when Stewart does his solo show, because I don't think I'm going to be able to do next week.
Aww.
You guys can.
What, are you going away?
Figure it out. Work stuff.
Oh, work stuff.
Oh,
okay. I'll give you his address so you know where to go when he's not there.
Crazy bags. Game of the week next week.
Absolutely.
49ers at Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Schedule makers got it right from a fan's point of view, but they sure didn't do the 49ers any favors. You start out with the Packers, then you have to go against Seattle. That's a tough early two.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I was very impressed by the Packers. I was also very impressed by the 49ers, who, by the way, won the game. Kaepernick was asked to win that game with his arm, and he did. He won with accuracy. He won with poise. He won with pocket presence. The guy's special. He's going to be a great. He is a great quarterback now, and he's going to continue to be a great quarterback. He's got the intangibles and the athleticism.
He has it.
He's got it,
and you can keep it.
And people will tell you Russell Wilson has it, and I'll agree with them too. But not having seen the Seattle game, but seeing the box
they
score.
were terrible. But they're always terrible on the road. Never take Seattle on the road, Stewart.
Okay, there you go.
But they won.
Clearly, coin flip. I mean, this could go either way. I'm taking the 49ers based on their defense and based on the fact that I think Colin Kaepernick is actually pretty special.
Okay, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take Seattle here. I think it's they win at home, they lose on the road. These teams, I think, usually split, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't do any research because we don't have the budget for research. In fact, our papers are falling from the ceiling as we speak. But anyway, I like them at home. The weather's been crappy. I don't know how San Francisco fares in Seattle, but if I'm not mistaken, I think Seattle usually comes out on top. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a great game to watch. I hope they start on time so I can stay awake because these games are getting long, man.
Yeah, you can't have us up at 1 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So the Monday night game is Steelers at Bengals. I think we've already told you a little bit about how we feel about the Steelers. They have faded quickly. They lack offensive weapons. Their defense has gotten old. Key injury on the offensive line that we talked about. Potentially their best line. I mean, their best line went down. I am a believer in the Bengals. I think the Bengals win this one easily at home. It's a division. I don't think anyone won in this division last week. I'm pretty sure everyone lost. Browns lost.
Browns lost. Bengals lost.
Ravens lost.
Ravens lost. Yeah,
Steelers
you're
lost.
right. You're right. Everyone lost.
So I'm pretty sure that the Bengals
Why can't Miami be there?
will take the lead in this division with a win over the Steelers on Monday night. Stu?
Yeah, I don't see it any differently. Losing, Marquise Pouncey is huge. I mean, he's Ben doesn't need too much help staying upright, but he needs Marquise Pouncey. And I think Cincinnati's going to be raring to go at home on a Monday night in front of a national audience. And this is a team that everyone's expecting to do well. They got to show it this week. I think they take Pittsburgh pretty easily.
Well, there you go, guys. Electric football. We tried to make it quick, and we did not succeed.
No, we didn't. We rambled. But thanks for watching. If you haven't noticed something down there, it's because I never got around to editing it. But you can reach us at electricfootballshow@gmail.com. And we'd like to thank the Cosmos Club here in town for always hosting us at our studios on the upper floor here at the Big C, as I call it now.
Get on that keyboard. Give us some comments. Go ahead and subscribe if you like us. Go ahead and subscribe if you don't like us. We don't care. We just want subscribers.
That's right. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you.
See you.